So this is a challenge round where each of you gets a chance to share what your business is, what challenges that you might be facing with that business, and get some feedback, maybe some great ideas that'll help you meet that challenge. If you don't have a challenge, it's okay to say, hey, everything is working just fine. So that's what we're doing today. So who would like to get us started? Don't everybody jump in at once.
Sorry I'm late, everybody.
No, we just got started, Yeah.
How would
Welcome
you like
back.
the digital check-in experience?
I'll go first.
Well,
Because
thank you.
I also might have to pop off a little bit early because I have a call at when we're supposed to finish. So I do have an exciting update. I'm still part of this other group, right? This business acquisition group. And so maybe a week or so ago, yeah, probably just a week or maybe even, I'm losing track of the days. It was either last Thursday or the Thursday before. So I think it must have been last Thursday after this call, because I think I was on this call. I handshaked a deal with a gentleman across the street from where I live. He is an M&A expert, has been doing mergers and acquisitions for over 25, 30 some years. And we shook a deal that I am going to be mentored by him, and he was going to just close his business down. So if it's something that I want to pursue long term, then I will have that as a business opportunity. My vision for it is not to be the operator of it, but to build it so that I would be the owner of it. And so my challenge with, well, this wasn't an original challenge, but one of the first things I need to do is get clients. And I was able to actually set up a conference call with my new mentor, business partner, whatever you want to call him, yesterday with a gentleman from my business acquisition group who's looking to, he has a managed IT services business. He has several locations, Austin, Dallas, Bakersfield, California, somewhere else, and he's looking to acquire some more of those businesses. So we did a conference call with him yesterday. We explained how he works. I'm literally just learning my mentor's processes. And he seemed to like what we said. We proposed a $2,000 a month retainer to kind of do the front end work. And then we'll have a success fee on the back end when we find these. And my mentor had mentioned during the call that if you're familiar with the company called AccuStaff, he had helped them to find acquisitions in their early days and helped those acquisitions help them to get to be a $900 million company. So I'm excited. The deal isn't signed yet because we got to send the agreement. But I'm also going to be, Dino, I got your book. Thank you so much. I've been reading it, devouring it and working through your little what's it, whatever it was, the link that you gave me. And got some thoughts on that to share with you. But so I will say that for anyone, if you want to really be a business owner, it is so important to document your standard operating procedures. Because if you don't, you will always be the business operator because it's all in your head and you can't teach anybody else to do it. And I'm learning that tremendously from this business acquisition group, in addition to Dino's knowledge base in sharing that of how important that is. I'm also got some other news because I started a real estate wholesaling business with a local partner friend of mine. And we've probably been at it about 5 weeks. And so we're starting to even just get our tools, like how do we make calls, and all of this kind of stuff. And so,
Oh, okay.
I do want to take it back. Are you on the phone?
I know I'm on the FBI Zoom meeting. That's okay.
Annie, do you want to mute? Oh, there we go. Okay. So we have been at it about 5 weeks, and we already have some really, really hot leads that we're just working through as we learn how to do it. So I guess my challenge would be or support would be, I'm still looking for people who I can talk to about doing merger and acquisitions on for that line of work. And then if you know any possible cash buyers or some real estate. So I have a possible property out that actually could be an income producing property. It's got a house and 4 current active lots that are bringing in rental income for mobile homes. It can hold 9. So I'll be looking for a buyer for that. We also have 4 other properties that we'll be looking for buyers for on those properties. We just got to figure out the kind of the offer price that we're going to give them and things like that. So
Kathy, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because I've never heard of wholesale real estate before. What exactly is that?
So great question. I didn't know of it either until my friend and somewhere else I had learned about it. It's where you look for distressed properties typically, or really motivated sellers where they need to get out of it. It could be that they have code violations. It could be that they have a divorce and this home just needs to be sold soon. It could be that somebody mentioned, oh, well, a tornado hit the house. And so the people got the insurance money on it, but they're still not going to repair that house because that's not their gig. And so you could have a buyer come in that. So I look for these distressed properties, or more so the distressed motivated sellers. And then make them an offer. I don't actually take ownership of the property. I do a contract, and then I go find the buyer who then gives me a spread, and then they actually close the deal with the owner. And if anybody knows anything more than that, and I didn't explain it well.
So I know a little bit more about it. It's working in real estate without a license. And we do that. I work with a team who does that too. But that means that you just, you get paid for your service.
Yeah.
But I still have to check with I would check with the Florida board.
Well, I have, and it's in some states, it's deemed as doing license without a real estate license. But as far as my knowledge base and contacts, it is not deemed that way because I'm just a finder. I'm not owning the property or anything like that. I'm just yeah.
Yeah, you should check. I can check for you if you want, because I do work with a team, and they do wholesale, but some state they don't allow that. So that's why you should check. Florida Real Estate Board is very, very particular.
Yeah, and if you find out something different, Betty,
yeah, I will check out for you. I will check that out for you.
Because my business partner is working with a code.
Why don't you take your license? Get your license.
Well, I don't want to do the business as an operator. I want to be an owner of it and build a team and things
Yeah.
like that. So,
Or have somebody in your team who has a license in Florida.
well, and that could be, but right now my information informs me that what I'm doing is not illegal. So,
Okay, I will check with the Florida Board of Realtors and let you know. No problem.
sure.
Yeah, nice to have.
So basically what you are, what Sean and I were kind of came up, you're a broker, you're just brokering the deal, right?
I wouldn't use the term broker. I'm a intermediary.
Okay. Okay, intermediate. Okay, gotcha.
And that's
Gotcha.
and that's literally what I am doing in the M&A business. With the like this guy that's in California, he owns his businesses. He wants to expand through acquisition because it's much faster than trying to build it out. And so he will be giving us his ideal target market kind of client, and his is 1 to 5 million in top line revenue. And then we will go do the search process for that, and we have I now know how to do that and wrote up my standard operating procedures, and we'll get the scripting and all of that kind of stuff down. And that is just being an intermediary too, although my business partner, I got things to clarify with him, but that's kind of what I'm working at there too.
So you're not a business broker with that piece?
I am
Mergers
not.
and acquisitions?
I am not now. This is something that I still am. I'm meeting with my mentor tomorrow, so I'm going to clarify, because I asked him if I needed to get a real estate license. He said no initially, but I don't know if that's because it's under his umbrella or whatever. But if I'm, so I don't know some of the questions.
So Kathy,
yeah,
Betty has a point. I had a real estate license at one point. I do not recommend that you get one, okay? Because you have more freedoms without one.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
You have a lot more freedom without having a license. All right.
Yeah.
However, the law says you cannot be paid to cause the sale of a piece of real property, and you cannot get a fee and be a participant for causing the sale of real property without a real estate license, unless you own that property. And that's how, so what you do is you take either possession of it or temporary possession of it.
Yeah.
You can do it with a contract where the contract's made out to you, but then you sign you assign it away.
Yes,
right? So that you never take ownership, right?
Yes, that's what we're doing, Paul. We contract with
Yeah.
the person to
Assignments.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
assignments.
Agreed.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Then you're all good. Now you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you. I didn't describe it very well because it's not my major
Thank
focus. I let her do that part of the due diligence, and
Right.
so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Can I just ask, just because we're on the realtor thing, why would you suggest someone not getting their license, their real estate license, just out of curiosity?
If you want to do it as a living, if you want to, be a realtor as a living, great. Okay. If you're getting the license for some other purpose, one, you have a lot more freedom without it. And if you have it, you have to maintain it.
And what kind of freedoms are you talking about, Paul?
Well, for starters, when you negotiate a deal, you're negotiating in your interest. Okay, without a license. Even if you're selling your own house and you're a realtor, you must negotiate in common interest, right? You must disclose everything. All right, there's an individual you would not have to. All right, your realtor would have to if you ever told your realtor. Okay, right, that's part of freedoms. All right. What else? You're not liable for anything you say. You sell the house and 3 years later, they discover a water leak in the pipes and whatnot. You're the realtor involved. They could come back and sue you. You were the seller. Okay. And what does it cost? Betty, what is continuing education cost to keep up your license?
Well, you're just training with the Florida Board. You just pay the fees for the National Real Estate Association and then the Florida Board. And I mean, it's just a legal process. And wholesaler, like you said, you have to own the property, then you sell it right away to the other person. That's
Right.
a way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if you sell it, they can still sue you. So this is not.
Well, you can sue anybody
I mean,
for anything.
it's just
True.
like you have to be honest with your business, what you do, and the advantage to be a licensed, you know the law better than somebody who doesn't. So I would suggest to do another way, but still through the real estate board. But
Well,
some people don't want I know that there is a lot of states, it doesn't matter. So that's why you should check with the Florida. And I can check that for you, Kathy, anyways. So, and
Well,
tell you the best way to do it. But you already work with a broker. So he's a broker in California.
no, that's a totally different discussion. That is a business owner that I'm looking for a business for. The real estate that I'm looking for here in wholesaling is kind of just in the Tampa Bay area here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long as, yeah, I think we kind of went through that part. I mean, so long as she gets a contract,
yeah,
has the seller sign a contract, so the seller is selling the house to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then before closing,
I can also suggest something, because I'm not a lawyer.
okay.
And that she just have a consultation with a real estate lawyer, and I can give her some name.
Awesome. I would be happy if you want to either put them in the chat or email them to me.
I will email it to you. I have your email.
Yes.
So I will email it to you and tell you who to contact to have more information about it. And if there's a problem, he will tell you and help you.
Yes, and in fact, we talked about you being a possible source.
We can work together anyway. So
exactly.
I mean, everybody, if you have something, I have the buyer. It's all for everybody. So it's not just like, and that's why I want to help you too, because if you want to grow your the business and then sell it later, it's always interesting. So because I am changing also my business toward investors. So we can work really well together and find properties together when we have one. I mean, it's a business.
Awesome, fantastic. Okay. So you are now, I'll put you on my possible buyer list.
Yeah, because I have buyers. Yeah. I have buyers. I send my booklet. I don't know if everybody received it. I sent my booklet yesterday. I finished this morning. And there's a lot of people who, like a guy who works, people who have their own business, but they want to have another business, make money somewhere. And what is real estate? That's what it is for.
Yes. And
there's about 4 or 5 businesses in real estate.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, there's more. Yeah.
Well, and Justin, I'll just add this to kind of, and maybe in this business acquisition group that I'm in, I am just like learning so many things additional that I didn't even know. So how to, there's a guy in the group, and he's kind of one of the mentors in the group that they work with. But he owns, and I don't know for sure all of his business, but I know there are at least 3, and they're not small businesses. But he says, my wife and I own them, and we are always looking for ways to use assets or resources of others that doesn't require us to be doing it. So he gave an example of, hey, if in this group there's a guy who owns a digital marketing agency, right? And so he's been doing his own work to find other digital marketing agencies to acquire, but he's using 2 of his employees to make those phone calls. Well, he says, hey, maybe you could partner with him and use his 2 employees and work out some arrangement to use his employees, since they're used to making the phone calls, to be able to make the phone calls when you have a need for helping somebody acquire a digital marketing agency. And then
can I jump in there, Kathy?
Uh-huh.
because you just described what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So what kind of arrangement, if you can't pay them right now, if you're not, in a financial position to pay them, what other arrangements could you make?
So this is where it's really generating the ideas and the possibilities in the brain. So it would be, what kind of value could you offer that other person, right? And so thinking in that realm, it's what can you offer the other party that they would value and see. It could be an email list. It could be, a simple, right? Sharing your email list. It could be sharing a network. It could be sharing any kind of resource that you think of. And my brain is going to be logging all of these ideas, but I've got a lot of them that have come through. But it's amazing what you can do with nothing out of pocket. And I don't want to take up any more time. So let's move on to the next person.
So, Paul, since you've got a new business idea, would you like to share that and the challenges that you have?
Well, thank you, Michael. So I've mentioned a few times probably that I'm working with this group of students, and you've probably seen, or hopefully you've seen, more of my posts. I know Renee has seen all of my posts. But there's been a whole lot more really better looking posts, memes, videos on Instagram, Facebook. That's the two main places where it's been. And there's been response. There's been a lot more likes, a lot more comments. No business yet, but the next step is actually a quiz and then a paid ad. And anyway, there's a process, right? However, what I just became very clear on is in a couple more weeks, they will consider the project complete.
Paul, is this a new business, your old business? I'm not clear what business you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've been working with a marketing group to produce posts on Instagram and Facebook for my business.
Well, some people
I
may
deserve
not
a perfect
know
life.
what your business is. So just
Okay, so for everybody who does not know who I am or what my business is, and I'm not sure there's anybody on the call like that, but my name is Paul Levin, and my business is I Deserve a Perfect Life. And what I do is I empower men and women to be able to manifest their dreams so that they can live the life they call perfect.
Got it. Okay.
And okay, so in a couple more weeks, what their program has been, and it's just becoming clear to me, has been a program of education. They've been putting together this whole package of process of marketing for the purpose of teaching me that that's how it's done. But I just kind of picked up on that part of it, all right? Which means that in a couple more weeks, it's now up to me to create those ads, all right? First of all, just all by itself, that takes a lot of time, right? So yeah, I'm looking for somebody who is creative, can look at Canva and the 60,000 pictures that they got there and pick one out that, yeah, this will go with these words. That'll be a good one. Okay, right? And do all that work. And right now, economically, financially, the offer I can make to them is a percentage of sales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which is not salary right now. Right? But if you know anybody or have other ideas, interesting. I do have 300, actually more like about, 300 subscribed people in my database, 300 plus. I don't know, can I sell my, can I negotiate with my Facebook following? You know, I've got about 3,000 followers. Or
So-
friends.
But you can, Paul, you know that you can put all your database in Facebook when you do an ad. You can transfer all your database to Facebook. So they all, if you're not friend yet, Facebook will look for the contact. And yeah, they look with the email and the phone number.
Okay, thank you. Odds are I would think most of them, but it'd be interesting to just run it through and see if there's a couple left who aren't. That would be an interesting thing to look at.
Mm-hmm. It takes 5 minutes. I mean, more than
Yeah,
5
just click a
minutes to
button,
do it.
right?
If you can do it yourself, you don't need
Can we
anybody.
repeat that,
So-
Betty? Because I got a.
You don't need anybody to do that for you.
Right. First, Betty, is that you upload a list or something into Facebook?
Yes, yes.
Real fast, could you tell me how that's done?
Well, I didn't
No?
do it because I already have one.
All right, I'll look it up. I'll just look it up.
But look it up and look it up on YouTube. That's my best friend, YouTube.
YouTube? Huh?
Yeah.
Sure.
Look it up YouTube
I'll
and
look it up in YouTube.
yeah, in YouTube, and how to download your database, your contacts from your database to Facebook.
Yep.
And on
Yep.
on your business page, of course. Okay.
Oh, it's on the page?
On your
Well,
business.
that'll find. We'll find
You
that
need,
out.
you need to have a business page for that.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay.
All right, so, and Kathy, I'm guessing you wanted to know how that's done as well. So-
Well, I kind of missed what the topic of conversation was. Moving what, a database of email names, or
Yeah.
Okay, so I have an account with Aweber.
okay,
You're familiar with the company? It's similar to MailChimp.
Yep.
All right. They have the ability to send out email.
Yep.
You can put together in Aweber. I can put together a list of emails
yep.
that get
So
sent
you
to
had
people.
300 subscribers in that list. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
so tell us again what you're looking for.
So again, what I'm looking for is if you know a creative person who is willing to work for future commissions,
Mhm.
okay, then I got a job for him.
Okay. So here's what I will suggest, Paul, or offer. Write me up exactly what you're looking for. Tell me what you can offer the other person. They will want to know how many subscribers you have, your website link, or whatever your thing is, to know if there's some possible scenarios that you might not even think of that they could think of. They do like active subscriber list versus an old database email and stuff like that. So if you do that and send it to me, then I will post it in my group and see if you can get a deal worked out with any of these people.
Okay. I will send that to you.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
By the way, a quick update on the presentation I gave on VideoPad. Those guys, they use another program called Filmora. And at their strong suggestion, I took a look at it. And it's like, oh my God, first of all, I can't figure out how to use all of it, but it has way more than VideoPad. So it's got more cool stuff that I can do on a video. Even more now.
Thanks, Paul.
Hey, Paul, is there a cost for Filmora or?
Well, I downloaded the free trial and I've yet to figure out. I did see somewhere that it was $69. So if it hassles me, I'm going to pay it.
Yeah.
But hopefully not.
Okay, thanks.
Let's welcome Evelyn to our group. And
Hey, Evelyn.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late. I've had a busy morning. I've got a lot of project work going on, so
sure.
I may have to bop off again.
Okay. So who's next? Sean and Renee, how about you two? What's up?
Well, we found out yesterday that the Bank of Tampa is not willing to rate the SBA loan for the business that we have an accepted offer on. So, yeah. So now we're working with some other options in order to see if we can do more of a conventional business loan versus going through the SBA, which we're okay with. The positive out of all this, we really don't have any issues except for that right now. The positive is that we are learning so much just about our options and business and process, how things work. You know, because we were told by the broker that the business was already approved by the SBA. So we were like, oh, the meeting tomorrow is going to be about, okay, how much are we putting down? What we want our terms to be, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not at all what the conversation was. So that's okay. It's just a setback. So we had to put some other things like that on hold that are in the process, but we're learning, and I don't think we want to give up on this business. It's a good little business. And
tell us again what the business is.
I think I can disclose this because there's an accepted offer, but I'm not sure. But if it just stays within this group, then I feel comfortable doing that. But
Well, we are recording.
You could tell us the industry, not the name.
Yeah, not the,
Yeah. Just what does it do?
okay, so it's within the fishing industry here in Florida. So
More retail.
it's retail,
Of what?
somewhat fishing supplies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can be the man that's selling it has had cancer. He wasn't supposed to survive. He did survive. So he's, I believe they call it like a 5%er. And the SBA didn't want to write the loan on it because he has had consecutive drop in revenue in the last 3 years. And but we understand why, right? We understand why, but he's still a completely absent owner. He handles a lot of the buying and the wholesaling piece of it, which is something that Sean and I are very interested in, but then he also has a location where he sells product as well. That is fully staffed and that runs itself. So we would be more on the buying side and the wholesaling piece. He has no online presence, so we would be developing an online market. So we're excited about it. It will allow us, the cash flow will allow us to both quit our jobs and work together, which is great, which is what we've been wanting to do. So we're willing to fight for it and figure out, you know, what it is that we can do and how we can maybe get around the financing. When we talked to someone that Dino had referred us to, or what Dino had talked to somebody that he knows, and she said that this is a classic SBA loan. She was just thinking that it was the actual bank that they usually take quite it wasn't enough money basically for them to put the energy into writing the loan, is what is what I got out of what her, you know, analysis of it was. But the broker has also put us.
You could go elsewhere. You could go to other banks.
Oh yeah, yeah. She felt that this was definitely an SBA loan, that it should qualify, no problem. And but the broker also put us in touch with someone, but we have an appointment with him today at 11, but he's across the state. And we like to support local, like we're local people. That's where we like to do business.
There is on my booklet, there is the Bank of Ozark. Did you see it?
I did not.
Yeah, and she works with small business, and she's right here. So I would suggest you contact her, tell her that you saw my booklet, because she helps a lot of business, and especially during this time. She got new businesses because no other bank would help them. So I just like making an appointment with her, and her name is Chris, and see what she have. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but at least you have a good bank here, local.
Yes, we're going to appease by listening to what he has to say and keeping our options open. We're also working with Dino's contact as well. And we were very upfront and honest with her, as we're going to be very upfront and honest with this gentleman today, that, you know, we just want the best option, you know, for us.
Well, call her or send her an email, because she's of course very busy right now at this time, but tell her that you got from me, and then she will help you right away. Okay.
Actually, Betty, if this is a friend of yours, Betty,
Yeah.
the best thing to do would be to make a warm referral. If you sent an email.
I will send her an email today and copy Renee.
That would be great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Because somebody else also who received my booklet, and she saw her name and she said, oh, I really wanted to work with that bank for a long time, and she wanted to be introduced. So I did introduce her, and then she got an appointment right away.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you,
an
Betty.
email. I will send you a copy to her. I will send her an email. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Also, Renee, what Betty's suggestion sounds wonderful. If something happens and that doesn't work out, I'm remembering from quite a while ago when I was working for the incubator, there was a presenter who also, their presentation was the fact that they do support small businesses with loans. And I don't know if this situation would fit that. And I don't personally remember the person's name. Maybe Danny would, or Evelyn might. If not, we can maybe look back in what presentations happened and find out who that was. He was representing a particular bank. But you know, Betty's idea sounds great. This would be backup if that didn't work
Yeah, you
out.
have to try.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah.
After
about
next,
TD
if it's still an issue next week. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, if it's still an issue, we have our very own TD Bank representative in the group here too. So,
Well, and a better choice might be First Citizen. Kevin is on the board, and they specialize in banking for businesses.
Yeah.
so you have a long list of banks to ask. Before you give
Yeah,
up.
exactly. We're not, and that's what I meant. Like at first, like we were kind of like, but then it's like, wait a minute. There are a ton more banks out there, and you know, like I said, when it was presented to us, we didn't realize that Bank of Tampa is kind of like, I don't want to say this to be rude or mean, but it's kind of like a hoity-toity bank, which is not Sean and I. We're not hoity-toity people. So it's probably good that we don't work with someone like that anyway, but because it was below, like, you know, it's below 500,000. So it's just more of, it sounds, because they said, we didn't even look at you guys. We just looked at the, you know, the actual business, because it was declining. And I thought, but we can explain why it's declining, you know, and, or why it has declined and what we're going to do to get it going again. And I think it was because it was a lower price item and something that just wasn't worth them to write on. And that's fine. That's totally fine.
Kathy, you've been
I just remembered. I'm
to
sorry.
say something. Kathy?
Yes, so I heard loud and clear you prefer local first. By all means, do that. But if those avenues don't work for you, I do know just as of yesterday, I was on my group calls and was introduced to fellow members in the group. One works with what is an SBA broker. So he shops the bank that will give SBA loans on people's behalf. So that's an option if any of the banks you try to do directly don't work with. And then
I was
And
gonna say the two people that were working with our brokers, I never knew that there's a broker for everything. There's a broker for real estate. There's a broker for businesses. There's a financial broker. Like, wow, I wish I would have known all this.
Okay.
No.
Well, the way they explained it, they will shop and present what they think is the best banking relationship for you to go through the process with. So
yeah,
that's an option. And barring that doesn't work, then there is an alternative financier that's in the group too. So I could also introduce you to him.
That's an alternative broker.
They have money sources that aren't traditional bank loans.
yeah, yeah. And that's what they had suggested, that a cash buyer come in, but I was just like, no, we can't do that with what we have to put down, and we have about a third to put down on the business.
Would the seller be interested
So
in holding
we
the
do
note?
have quite a chunk, Right. So it's just kind of like, huh. So I'll let you know, Kathy, like if the Bank of Ozark, if the two financial brokers don't come through and the Bank of Ozark doesn't come through, then I'll let both you and Joan know, and we can go further. Well, we believe in the business. It's a good business. When we look at the financials are there, and there's a lot of room for growth.
Yeah, Paul, you mentioned, is the owner open to seller financing? My hunch would be probably because of his health situation, he wants to get it up front as much as possible.
Yeah, he wants to get out of the business because he and his wife are going to be traveling overseas. She's a musician, so he's looking to get out of it completely. And honestly, we just want to be, how we operate, we just want to be free and clear. You know what I mean? We want to be responsible for our own instead of having to do the seller financing. But we're definitely not taking anything out of, we're open. Our minds are wide open. So, yeah.
So, all right. I might circle back around with you with another idea.
Perfect.
Okay.
But we're going to have to jump off here in 5 minutes. It was great to see everybody, but we have another meeting at 10. But we'll stay on for about 5 more minutes. Okay. Good to see everyone.
Eddie, what's going on with you?
Well, what the challenge is like changing. It's not a challenge, but takes time. Changing from, before the virus and now after the virus. So, and getting more people involved, like more customers. So I do work a lot with Facebook right now, where I get my leads. So, and I do work on a workshop, so I wanted to do in next month, maybe end of June. Will be a workshop for investors, and everybody will be invited. So, and that's what I'm working on. So I'm working on a lot of projects right now. I've just finished my booklet, and I got a lot of nice feedback. And then I'm going to keep going. I like what I'm doing, and I mean, I get more leads, so, and I have to be more professional. I mean, get better online marketing. So that's why I said I find all those ideas and I just like implement right away, and it's like, oh, it works. So for Paul, like that's what I do, and I will join a team, specialized in investing in real estate, and it's a lot of knowledge, and I'm very proud of it because I get to know more and more. So, and I will be able to do all of the real estate part. So I'm very excited about it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Betty.
Thank you.
Joan, how about you? What's your business and what kind of challenges might this group support you with?
I'm sorry, I didn't, are you talking to me? I didn't hear.
Yes, Joan. Yes.
Okay, sorry. Well, at this point, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. And I've been doing the energy work and teaching some qigong classes, and I'm really high risk. I actually have been sick for several weeks, which is one of the reasons I got on so late today. And according to the test that came back for the virus, it was negative, but I'm having a hard time getting my feet back under me. So I haven't had a lot of time or energy to apply to figuring out what I'm going to do next, because it's pretty clear to me that it will be quite a while before I'd be able to be alone in a room with somebody and have my hands on them. So I've been thinking writing is the best direction for me. And I'm not sure exactly, possibly copywriting, and I know that I have a couple of books in me that I've been wanting, one that I've started and I haven't picked up for a long time. Excuse me. But I need to earn some money. So writing a book isn't going to generate that right away. Mm-hmm. And I don't need to earn a lot of money. I'm just looking for something that's really very part-time. But I'm also in the process of making some changes in my home and things like that. So
Joan,
from the point of view of writing, I'm open to suggestions about short-term, writing, editing, copywriting.
Have you got experience in that area?
Oh yeah, a lot. I earned my living as a technical writer for 11 years. And most of my other jobs have involved some kind or other of business writing. And I'm a good writer. I write decently, and people seem to enjoy reading what I've written. And that's actually my preferred way of expressing myself. Yeah. Wait, let me see.
In my other group, I did a one-on-one recently, and the gentleman has a copywriting business. And I would be happy to make an introduction because he is looking for additional copywriters that can be a part of his thing, so that he can move on to what the role of not writing as much. And so let me see if I can make the introduction.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's the other issue too. As I've gone through losing my hearing, it makes certain types of work more difficult. So writing is something, it takes being able to communicate to get the information, but it's something that I can focus on myself. And that would be fantastic, Kathy. Thank you.
So your specialty is technical writing, and you said business writing, but what kind of business writing? Just so I can tee it up best.
Right. I wouldn't just say technical writing, because I haven't done a lot of this, but I think I could be really good at like case studies. I'm probably not the person to hire if you want someone to write one of those long email, social media things, because I hate reading them. So I don't want to be the one to write them.
Okay.
But anything that involves interviewing someone and doing a case study, doing some research. I'm very good at doing research and putting that on, putting those findings in a way. I may not be the one to analyze it. I'm not a business analyst, but gathering the information for someone to analyze. Technical writing, yes, I can do that. I can look at systems and describe how they work. I'm probably not the best person to say in this day and age what might be a better way to do it, because my experience as a technical writer was quite a while ago. And the basic skill is there, but I'm not familiar with all the tools, and I'm really not a social media person.
Joan, and I suggest that you stay focused on what you can do rather than what you can't do.
Right. But I was just trying to let Kathy know where my strengths are.
Right, but you've been telling us where your weaknesses are. So stick with your strengths.
Okay. Good thing. Joan, I'm going to put my email in the chat, and if you could send me a couple of writing samples, then I can also pass that along to him, and then he would be able to kind of probably get an idea if there's a fit as well.
Okay. It's been quite a while, so it'll take me a little time to.
Sure, no problem. Whenever
What kind of writing sample are you looking for? I'm not sure I even have a case study that I could, I'd have to write one, which I could do.
Yeah, whatever you feel like what path you want to pursue in writing, send some samples of that. And whenever you're ready for it, I will reach out and make the connection.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Joan, do you do copy editing as well?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do you do copy editing?
Yes, I could do that.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
Super. Is that something that you would want to do?
Of course, yes.
Okay. Okay. Have you got any other strengths that we should know about?
I'm a good listener.
Okay.
And I have a lot of experience in a variety of industries over my lifetime. And then there's my experience as doing healing work. And in the arts, I would love to do some critical writing if that's an option through that person. I've always wanted to be like a critic, like evaluating a movie or a dance performance or something like that.
But you can evaluate writing, right?
I'm sorry?
If I sent you a chapter of a book, could you evaluate that?
I could. That would be kind of partly what editing would be about. Okay. Yes.
Super.
So you
I might have
mentioned that
something myself.
So you also mentioned that you're a good listener, and what was mentioned in my other group was that if you're writing standard operating procedures, you typically don't want to have always yourself writing it or the employee writing it. You actually want somebody else to come in and listen to somebody say what they're doing, and and then that person writes up the standard operating procedure. So that, do you think you would be able to do that kind of work as well?
Yeah, I've had a lot of experience. That's part of what technical writing is, systems being created. And typically, not typically, it's really not usually done where the technical writer is brought in from the beginning, unfortunately, because they have a different view of things. But typically, once a system is underway and out there and functional before it's released, they have a technical writer go in and just try using it and come up with the places that it's not functioning, and that's kind of a tester, and get to know it intimately enough to say, you know, to do this activity you do XYZ, you know, and then if you hit A, you'll go this way. If you hit B, you'll go that way, you know, that kind of thing. And
yeah, well, thank you for explaining that, because that brings to mind, I see so much on, you know, our resources of Google, and people have put up instructions on how to use their whatever it is, and then they've updated their whatever it is, and their instructions are old. And I'm like, oh, they need to update this because it makes it hard for the end user then to find that value. So that's another piece. So I will thank you for that explanation. I'll add that, but let me know when you have those writing samples.
Now, some of my samples are not online. I have a couple of things that I created from a long time ago when I was a technical writer. I mean, that was really like 40 years ago. The basic skill is the same. The tools for doing it are different. That's where I fall short, is not having, you know, it doesn't mean I can't learn them, but the basic skills are the same.
Right. So if you've got something good that you wrote 40 years ago, you can pick it up when.
Yeah, I'll have to find. I think I kept a couple of manuals that I created just because they looked really nice and that I did a nice job on them. And I thought, well, maybe someday I'll need to show them to somebody, and I should have those someplace.
Okay.
So they're packed away. But other than that, I'm sure I have some things that I've written, even some business items that I've written within the last 10 years online that I could forward. And they won't be necessarily beautiful finished documents, but rather communications within the office, things like that.
Right, whatever you got, okay, forward into me, and the best I can do is kind of make the connection.
Okay, and maybe if I may send you more than you think would be useful, and then you could tell me what you think would be best out of it, if you're willing to do that. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Kathy. That's wonderful.
That's what we're here for. Evelyn, you willing to be next?
Sure, good morning. Sorry I was late. Everybody knows what I do, so right now I'm doing a lot of web design and graphic design. I've got a couple of projects that have deadlines, which is exciting. I haven't had much work until about 2 weeks ago. So it's some pressure on my schedule. I think I don't know if I'm having any particular challenges right now other than, you know, juggling multiple things and making time for all those projects to happen at the same time. That's about where I'm at. I've sold some artwork in the last week or two. I have to say, I have a challenge with, I have people, I get scam requests for art a lot. You know, you know, great to see your work. I like this piece. I have about $800 to $1,000 to spend. You know, can you please send me artwork that falls into that range? And I've already started picking up that that's scammy. So when I get somebody, and somebody contacted me through the artwork archive where I actually have my work posted, And, you know, it's just interesting engaging in these conversations, because it's like, how do I know, and what's the best way to get paid for work? I know, I see Paul shaking his head no. So, you know, I have
I think the same dynamic happens on Tinder.
yeah, I'm sure.
Well, and
I've never been on Tinder, but I've heard Tinder is terrible. There's a lot of solicitation, not a lot of quality.
well, and Evelyn, your artwork that I'm imagining that these people might be requesting just might be for their own visual pleasure online versus actually wanting to acquire the.
You know, most of them that are scammy, they're just trying to find a way to basically, you know, money launder, basically. You know, with this particular person is actually asking for a print. So I have to go through a little bit more hoops to do that, get something printed and sent out to him, because it's a piece that's already sold, and he's very much interested in the piece. The way he's communicating, you know, there's no broken English in there. That makes me nervous. But the other challenge I'm having is, you know, this has been a challenge all along, is how do I price my work? And now if people want prints, I have like 3 people asking for prints, and I've been really hesitant to sell them because I don't know how to navigate that.
What part don't you know how to navigate?
How to price my work from a print place versus an original. I mean, original work, I'm pricing where it seems like I sell and people are happy with the sale. But then how to figure, I know I have to account for the price of the print, and, you know, the mounting of the print and the finishing. Are there
any other artists, either similar to you or whose work you like, who sell prints?
Well, yeah, if I go to any art festival, I see prints all over the place.
Okay, what do they cost?
Anywhere between $45 and $100 is what I'm usually seeing, unless they're very small.
And where do you see yourself in that range?
Well, I am happy to do it for 45. If it's
Let's
a small,
up it to 55 or 65.
Sure. I guess I don't know what the standards are for, let's see, artwork being sold, and I'm basically selling, like, the Huddle in the Harbor bought a painting of mine. They're a nonprofit organization that's basically a safe harbor for abused women. Do a lot of birthing and pregnancies and things like that. Super excited. I completely discounted it a lot because I was very excited to be supporting the organization anyway. She asked permission to have the print, and I said, yeah, what are you going to use it for? She says, we would love to have this work on a thank you card to our donors in the future. And I was like, awesome. I would love the exposure. Please credit me in the whole process. I will send you the digital. And for that feels good to me. That feels easy. But now this person who's interested in buying is actually wanting the same print that she just purchased. So it's interesting. And Kathy, I think there was something, because I'm on my iPad, I think there was a chat thing that popped up.
So why don't
how
you
do I price my work?
Yeah. Kathy gave a calculator here.
I just did a Google search, and there's lots of, I guess, opinions on how to price print artwork. And
I know, I've been through a lot of that, yeah.
So
my artwork I price. My artwork is not hard for me to price. It's basically, you know, $1 an inch, unless it's smaller than a 20 by 20, and then it's a little more, because it's not reasonable with the cost of, you know, canvases and whatnot with the smaller ones. So I've kind of isolated that down. So the actual originals is fine.
Okay,
it's
so let me
figuring out prints from that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I posted the wrong one here. Let me clarify. Here's one that says art prints.
Awesome.
How much should you charge for art prints? Yeah, how much you should charge for art prints. I learned a rule of thumb is that it's really very easy to spend money if it's under thought thresholds. Under $25.50 are good places for most people, and if they are matted, add to the print and double the cost of the mat. So that's one person's opinion.
Right. That's what I hear. And I do have, you know, friends who've helped me figure out how to photograph and really clean up my images for print, which has been very exciting. I've been learning a lot along the way. I think this might be more of a psychological issue than it is an actual money one for me. So it's a process of learning and seeing my own worth, I guess, in there. You know, and the intimidation of, you know, somebody wants my work in a print, what? You know, I have to, it's been really hard to value my work in general. You know, when I look at how much you know, Carl's familiar with my taxes and what I made last year. And then there's like, what? Wait, shouldn't there be more than that? And there probably needs to be in there. So
to make that easy,
yeah.
To make that easy, just recognize that that's how artists are. Okay, they don't value their work like they should, as much as the recipients do, right?
Right.
So just know that artists are that way and double your price.
I like that one.
More,
I agree.
You're worth more than what you're credit for.
I agree with Paul and Carl 100%, because I had to get over that it really isn't about what my work is worth. It's about what my clients are willing to pay. And they're two totally different things. So at least double your prices and see what happens. That'll give you at least some data points to go up from or down from. But it's got nothing to do with what you think your work is worth. It's about what the public thinks your work is worth.
Yes, well, in the art world, that's a big challenge overall, because people can go over to Till Tuesday or Bed Bath & Beyond and buy a painting from China for $35. That's, you know, a big, huge painting to go on the wall, and they say that's artwork. Meanwhile, it's mass produced by people painting the same damn thing. And what I do know about my stuff is, you know, I don't see anything like my stuff very often out there. I'm following some artists that have some very similar styles, but it's you know, it's my own creative process. I'm not trying to replicate anything. So that makes it a little bit distinct and hard to sell sometimes too, because it's very abstract. But yeah, at some point I'm going to get the 150 paintings out of my garage.
Well, those people that are willing to buy in a store for pennies on the dollar because it was reprinted in China aren't your target market. That's
no, they're not.
Right. That's right. Don't appease them. Don't worry about appeasing them.
Yeah.
And then, Michael, when you were talking about what is something worth, right? You know, it's not what you think it is. It's what the customer thinks it is, right? Betty, what's the definition of the price of a house in real estate?
What the market says.
What a willing buyer and a willing seller agree on.
What the buyer is going to offer. And the seller, I mean, he will like it or he doesn't like it. If he's willing to sell it, he will make a counter offer.
Right. So it's just a matter of the buyer and the seller agreeing. And if the buyer comes with a higher price than you had in mind, you willing to agree?
Yeah.
Evelyn?
It's like your house is worth, say, okay, we do a CMA today, and then in 2 months, it's a different price. So, okay, yeah, that's how it is.
So,
one way I look at it is give your customers an opportunity to pay you more.
Amen.
Right.
If I may share, here's an example of a money mindset. And this was a student who worked through an exercise and they wrote this. So I'll read it if it's quickly, and then I can send it to you if you'd like. I'm so happy and grateful for the fact that I have so much to offer the world. I belong and I contribute every day. I now have all the knowledge and skills to understand and release the patterns that have held me back in the past, and I'm doing that daily. I find ways to invest more time on money-making activities, and I'm doing this each day. Using my skills to earn money is hugely enjoyable. I fully believe that I am now deserving and worthy of belonging in the flow of money. I am one with money, and money is one with me. I am able to overcome any obstacles that come my way. I feel confident that I can live a fulfilling life that respects my natural, and she put introverted propensities. I am willing and able to leave behind my fears of putting myself out there in front of people. My knowledge is extensive and I deserve to be listened to. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn money that suits my soul. Everything I do is aligned with my spiritual purpose and brings me the freedom I seek. I am now ready to align my thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with my soul. My purpose is to spread unconditional love, and everything I do is a reflection of that. I am good enough. My heart is pure, and my new reality is a projection of my heart. The feelings that I now have around money are powerful. They support me with more confidence, clarity, and energy.
Amen.
So you could borrow that or create your own. If you'd like me, I can send it, and then it has some questions on the back of it if you'd like me to send this to you.
Thank you. Nice.
Joan,
I
are you saying
think
something? You're muted.
Oh, yeah, Joan looks like she's muted. There you go. Oh, almost.
Somebody unmuted you and then you muted yourself again. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You're good. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Back to the question about whether or not to do prints. I see this kind of fitting. First of all, I guess an important question is, do you want your work out to put your work out there to people in the form of a print? I'm not judging one way or the other, but that seems to be an important question that you need to answer. Maybe you really just want your original work out there and not as a print. But if you were to feel comfortable raising the cost of your originals and someone wanted your work but couldn't find a way to pay that amount, then you would have the print option to offer at a price that they could manage. So there may be lots of ways to put that out there. You know, you could not offer the print until you know someone has an appreciation for your work and wants it but can't afford the higher amount. And nice picture. and then you know, I mean, so there's lots of ways to use that concept of a print. And then of course there's whether it comes rolled up in a tube or it's nicely matted and framed and all of that for when you're judging the cost of it.
Yeah, it's hard to find places. I mean, there are places that print fine art, but I feel like I want to test them out, you know. So I'm also a little intimidated about sending work out without having the print quality. Like I did work at Dick Blick and that was great, but I learned, you know, like my print digital file needed to be very high end, even though the person told me it would be fine, it wasn't. So I paid a lot of money for something I couldn't use. So there's mistakes made in there too, but I'm happy to have my stuff in print. But I also am going to limit that, I think, is how I've thought about it. Maybe do 50 at most, or 20 at most. And that way they maintain some level of value after I die. We'll see. Because of course, everything's more valuable once you're gone.
It's the way it is. Don't worry about that part.
Oh, Joan is saying something. Uh-oh,
Okay,
Joan, somebody just muted.
Let Joan handle it herself. There we go.
Everything is more valuable except you.
Right. I gotta think about that. But thank you, everybody. I appreciate that.
You are
I'm definitely
fine art artist.
Thank
Amen.
you.
You need to live up to
definitely
that.
Yeah, It's definitely a new mindset in the last year or two. So it's a learning process, and it's fun to discover my hangups along the way and be curious and unravel them. So it's good to just put it out there and say it out loud, so I'm aware that I'm okay. Yeah,
We're all going through the same process.
I know. I love it. It's awesome.
All right.
Sorry, I'm going to have to jump off. It was great connecting. Hopefully I'll see everybody next week.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you later, Kathy.
Bye.
Bye.
Carl,
Evelyn,
Carl,
Carl, yeah.
I'm just enjoying a little bit of peace and quiet. Everybody, the wave of the PPP and EIDL and stimulus checks seems to be winding down. So I get to focus on the normal tax and accounting stuff now. I'm expecting a rush for that to happen since the deadline was extended to July 15th. I went and saw a client yesterday. We met kind of at a mutual ground at Tech Data, which is kind of a large IT distribution company in the area.
Mhm.
And while I was there, I saw one of the directors of security that I knew from a previous life, and we got to chatting. And I asked him, when are they going to open up? And he said that they are looking at coming back at 50% capacity at best. He says that they have taken the leash off of people. They've worked from home and they've done very well. And so I think in society, there is a new change that's coming, and I'm trying to get my mind around that the workflow dynamics is going to change, and all your, because work is a big part of people's lives, and some of the social things that goes with that too. People date, they meet, people and date at work. They have their lunch bucket buddies they go to their favorite hauntings with. And so some of the local restaurants around there, like Bascom's Chop House, Cheddar's, Longhorn Steakhouse, are really feeling the pinch because of COVID-19, and now because I guess the usual lunch gang's not going to go there where they went every Wednesday or Thursday or whatever it was. So I'm trying to get my mind around that. And as I was driving back to my office, I happened to go by the Salvation Army, and of course there was a line of cars going around the block and up and down the street to get free food. So even though we're all struggling, I guess I'm very happy for where I'm at right now, and I can I guess it takes something like that to appreciate what you got, so it ain't all that bad. For fun, I dabbled at the beginning of the year. Kind of got a late start to something. I did a website called Tax Elves for kind of the people to do it themselves, and I was rewarded. I got my first payola check from the company. But what it is, basically, it's just kind of a referral system where someone comes to my website and then they go to a portal and they get tags slapped on the back of them. And so I get a referral fee from my software vendor. So it's kind of easy money. It's broken even. And so I am dabbling with learning how to do social media in my spare time, reading books, just to kind of like get to the clue here on what it is. So I would like to pursue that part of things because I would like to have a tax season where I'm at Paul's Beach there and enjoying a drink in my hand and letting the robots do the work, and then I come in for like the really technical ones. I can have a dream, right? So, okay, that's it. But it was pretty good for, someone that didn't know what they're doing, came to the party pretty late. It wasn't too bad. So I'd like to invest some more time and do some more stuff in that. So that's me.
Cool.
Dr. Broom, how about you?
Thank you. My work with NASA is going just fine. I'm very happy about that. So I meet with the group once a month, and then I work with the with the leaders of the group after that as well. So that's going well. I've moved my courses from one platform to another, and I've upgraded everything. And Chihu's work with me has paid off with increased traffic. So I'm just waiting for increased sales. So I'm getting really clear about the distinction between sales and marketing. Yeah. So my marketing's not bad, but now it's time for the sales to kick in.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So basically, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Yes. And
Okay.
it is, yes,
Michael,
yes.
could you tell me when you say you're waiting on sales, what is the product that you're trying to sell?
Thank you for asking. My regular work is to provide consulting services to organizations around supporting leaders to be more functional, supporting teams to be more functional. So I put together a series of courses where people can sign up online and take the courses in a self-paced way so that they can learn how to be better leaders, build stronger teams, and that kind of thing. It's called Leadership and Self-Mastery. So that's me, and Evelyn did a beautiful logo for that for me.
That's good.
Yes, she just didn't charge me enough. Yeah.
Well,
All
show
right.
us that logo next time, Michael. Show us the logo next time.
Sure, sure. Actually, I will probably ask her to do another logo for the Center for Human Systems as well with my dragon. That should really be interesting. All right. We got 30 seconds to go, folks. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was good to see everybody.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Have a good
See
week.
you next
Have a
week.
wonderful
Thank you.
day.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye now.
Be well, everyone.
Be well. And Carl, if you need help with any of that social media stuff, let me know.
Yeah, I'm in the deep end of the pool. I'm drowning. Can't you tell?
No, we can't tell.
Can't tell at all.
No. Because you talk about it so much, we don't take it seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Evelyn. Yeah, okay. I'm calling you right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, have a lovely day, everybody.
Okay.
You too.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.